Let's get you, in fact, the latest updates on the massive protest that's taking place outside the Red Fort in Delhi over Rahul Gandhi's disqualification. Congress leaders have hit the streets, and you see those images on your screens of all of the leaders being detained, including senior Congress leader Harish Rawat, who's been taken into custody. Congress has now tweeted saying dictators scared of Satyagraha, and that's why our workers are being detained.
ये लोकतंत्र की हत्या है। हमको मशाल जुलूस नहीं निकालने दिया गया। हमने मशालें जलाई, अपने कपड़े निकाल के रुमालें लगा करके मशालें जलाई, जिनको पुलिस ने बलात् बुझाने का काम किया। मगर हम दिल की मशाल जला करके जो है ये जहां ले जाएं, जो भी जुल्म करे, इस जुल्म से लड़ेंगे। भारत का प्रतिपक्ष जिंदाबाद, राहुल गांधी जिंदाबाद।
Ashutosh Mishra is joining us live right now from outside the Red Fort. Ashutosh, take us through what's happening there. We can see the multiple Congress leaders have now been detained.
You know, it's totally high voltage drama. The Congress workers, senior leaders plan to carry out a protest here, a mashal protest, a torch protest at Delhi's Red Fort. But much before they could reach, the Delhi police barricaded this entire area and prevented all of them from reaching at least 200 meters away from the Red Fort main. There you now see who's being detained is Ajay Rai, the former Congress chief of Uttar Pradesh. Now he's being detained. So far we have seen JP Agrawal being detained. Harish Rawat, the former Uttarakhand chief minister, has been detained, and around 100 of these Congress workers, one after one, being detained. Everyone who tried to reach to the Red Fort area. A few minutes ago we had P. Chidambaram, the former home minister here. Of course, he wasn't allowed to reach to Red Fort. Then he left. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, another Congress leader from West Bengal. So many member of parliaments, including Kerala, they all are here. And everyone now there you see being detained. We are beaming live images from Red Fort, where the Congress planned to carry out a torch protest over the current issue revolving around Rahul Gandhi. And as we see the protests triggering from street to parliament, there you see these Congress leaders are being detained. In fact, they tried to lit the torch, but clearly there was no permission from the Delhi police. And of course, Red Fort area, you cannot carry out such protests. There are usually no permission given. But for now, since police barricaded, there is a massive traffic, totally jam-packed, choked this entire area. In fact, the people who are roaming around and the plans to visit this particular stretch, they are using this particular stretch to going home. Clearly they should avoid, because this is totally jam-packed because of the multi-level barricading placed by Delhi police. But for now you see in these images, high voltage drama. Ajay Rai Lallu, the former UP chief, UP Congress chief, is being detained. Another side, look at this, how these barricading have been placed. Multi-level barricading is being done by Delhi police. The CRPF company has been placed here, and there you see this is the huge. In fact, many of these buses who were taking these Congress workers, supporters and leader to the nearby police station, these workers clearly obstructed even the police buses. They literally resisted and protested, and they did not allow these buses to go. There you see these leaders have been now being taken by Delhi police. So this entire stretch you see, many leaders from many parts of the country, the Congress senior leaders, who tried to reach at this pocket. Of course, there was one information that Priyanka Gandhi will be reaching here, Mallikarjun Kharge. But before anyone, those top leaders, those senior most leaders could reach here from the party, here already the detention begins from Delhi police. There you see these images, the Congress workers now being detained, have been taken to the police station.
Permission denied, Ashutosh? Was permission denied for this protest?
Unfolding at Delhi's. Well, of course, since the permission was denied, and of course they informed the police, it wasn't about seeking a permission to carry out protests at Red Fort. Remember, this is a totally busiest, one of the most busiest stretch, and usually there is no permission given to carry out a protest or a torch protest from Red Fort to the town hall area, which was sought by the Congress party. And because of that, looking at the protest, this is one of the most busiest road. Delhi police barricaded this entire stretch, and because of this barricading, more than an hour, there have been literally massive traffic. Now they're just opening one of these stretch and gradually, of course, easing out the traffic. But clearly the Delhi police did not allow any of these Congress leaders or workers to go to the Red Fort. So of course, the police did not allow them to carry out protests, the torch protest for now. So of course we see as the protesters now being gradually evacuated in these buses, they are being detained, they are being taken to the nearby police station. So gradually we will see this stretch going to be open, of course, for the traffic, soon vehicular movement. But for now, you see, this is totally stalled. If I could just beam out these images from here, there you see the traffic. This total stretch is now jam-packed, and of course the protest from here where we are at the moment, just 200 meter where there is a main gate of the Red Fort area usually, which is the place of entry and which is usually believed to be for gathering. But since the gathering wasn't permitted by Delhi police official, there you see the CRP, the senior most official, the DCP, the area ACP, everyone here, and all they just prevented from these Congress leaders and workers to reach at Red Fort area. Now what we see, almost the protest is now over, since most of these leaders have been either detained or they have gone back home. Now the police is just expediting this evacuation process, the detention process. Everyone is around here now being taken away by the Delhi police. Akshita.
Ashutosh Mishra there reporting from the ground and getting us all of those latest updates. You can see all of the senior Congress leaders who are now being detained as we speak, as permission was denied for this particular protest. But then, if permission was denied, Ashutosh, the Delhi police will then pass the buck and put the blame on the Congress, saying we didn't give permission and yet you chose to gather here outside Red Fort.
Well, usually we see, the section 144 is often used by the law enforcement agencies when it comes to the gathering or to carry out protests. And as I said, the Red Fort, this particular stretch is one of the most busiest. We have the very famous Chandni Chowk market here, Chavdi Bazaar here, Kashmiri Gate, all these connectivity areas. So usually there is no permission to carry out a protest, and since there was no permission, usually we see many other places if you seek a permission. You remember all opposition parties were trying to march from Parliament to Enforcement Directorate Office. Section 144 was imposed, there was no permission. So clearly that is one tool that the police agency used, because there was no permission to carry out march. They were contained at this almost 200 meters from the main gate of the Red Fort area by putting these barricades, multi-level barricading at the both sides. So they were quite confined and restricted at one particular stage. So they see the most of now these very few leaders have left, since most of these workers and other leaders being detained. So of course they are still reluctant, and they still want to reach Red Fort area, carrying out the torch rally, the torch protest, Mashal Julus. But since the permission wasn't given, the Delhi police did not even allow them to reach. Though the very few now I can see carrying out a banner and poster in support of Rahul Gandhi. So more than you see the carry out any specific protest, what it is seen as a symbolic protest, that you are raising voice against the government, you are raising voice over the particular issue that you were raising. And moreover, this symbolism comes out when you see the unity of all your party leaders together. No matter at very other occasion you've been criticizing certain policies, but when it comes to the Rahul Gandhi, his disqualification, asking him to vacate bungalow. So this entire issue that surrounding Rahul Gandhi, there we see quite unity not only within the Congress party, but also even the arch rivals like the TMC, like the Aam Aadmi Party, and several other coming together. So that has somewhere given big arms and strengthened the arms of the Congress party. And there we see from Parliament we're seeing all these Congress leaders and other opposition leaders are wearing black clothes. And here on street, different occasions we are seeing these protests. So this has been happening for quite 3-4 days. And here as they plan to carry out a torch protest from Red Fort to Town Hall, one of the most iconic places. And remember, Red Fort is very famous. When seen from the Red Fort, on every 15th August we see the Prime Minister, different Prime Ministers have been addressing the nation. So this has a symbolic message in the protest to carry out. At least you are reaching here, giving out a message. But when it comes to law enforcement agency, there are of course different rules. They have to maintain the law and order, they have to maintain the traffic. But yes, as far as giving message through this protest is concerned, that is somewhere reached. They tried to reach at Red Fort. They tried to carry out a protest march which wasn't allowed, and at least they gave a, they were finally taken to the police station. They were detained. Harish Rawat in fact said, if they are going to arrest me, let them arrest. And of course many of them who were somehow reached here now being detained. And now we see that quite area is under control. There is no absolute no reason to worry about situation, law and order. Everything remained calm. It was a symbolic protest.
So the Congress leaders who gathered there have in fact been detained. The protest has ended. Ashutosh, thank you for getting us